Hello, everyone. For those of you that don't know, my name is Robert Woolwine, and I was Frank's younger brother. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who came this week and today to support me and my family. So here it goes. Frank, he really was one of the best brothers I could have asked for. He was really helpful, and he really tried, even though a lot of the time it was me helping him. Growing up with Frank was really a special time because some nights when my dad would have meetings, it would just be me and him, and those nights, they were really special. One of my favorite memories from one of those nights was when I was trying to make my bunk bed 2 twin beds. So I lifted one part of the bed, and I was like, okay, I got it. But what I forgot was that the front part was double, the entire thing was double the front part. So tried to lift it, and it fell, and I was just really upset. But then, because I was upset because I knew when he came in, it wasn't going to be good. And then out of nowhere, Frank runs in, says, "Robert, I got you." And he lifted it up, and he did it, and it worked, and my dad wasn't even mad. So that's just one of the memories that I had with Frank. But that was the oldest one. One of my recent favorite memories was when me and Frank went out to San Diego for Christmas. It was just me and him because my dad had stayed with Emily and her family. And, the reason it was so great was because we didn't fight. Because we knew if we fought, then we'd get kicked out of the airport and wouldn't be able to go. So that trip, I really bonded with Frank, and I felt like I met a whole new person because, I just hadn't really talked to him in a while. And we started to get along a lot more. We would still fight, the occasional fight, but it was more like a fun, laughing fight, not like a hate-you fight. So those are some of my best memories of Frank, and I hope all of you have good memories like that with Frank, so you can cherish him and you can remember him through those memories. And that's it for me. Frankie, I love you, and I love you. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Well, how do you follow that? One thing I will say is I want to get this clear right before we start. Alec, you owe me some money. I thought that was just for Frank. Nah. Since you said those nice things, I'll let you slide. So this is amazing. I mean, you can look around here, and it's just incredible to me that the outpouring of, love and faith and what we've had these past, 4 days. I mean, no parent should ever get a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning like the phone call I got. Nobody should have that. But we always, I've prayed about it, I've thought about it, and at the end of the day, I'm the type of person, and I know our family's the type of person that I'm probably strong enough to do this. And I'm going to tell you why. when we go through this. But first, I'm in sales, if nobody knows that. So I'm used to talking to people. So it's not that hard. This is hard. So I always tell people I have a thing I use as an upfront contract. And I'll just say, hey, listen, I'm going to be here for 20 minutes. I'm going to tell you this, this, and this. At the end of this conversation, we either move forward or I'm going to walk away. So I'm going to tell you for about 10 minutes. And I'm going to talk about some serious stuff. I'm going to make you laugh. But at the end of it, if you don't feel better, I haven't done my job. My job is to make all of you in this room feel better about what happened and what's going on right now. And I'm willing to do that. And I'm hoping I can do that. So bear with me here for a few. Thank you. I've got to say thank you. I bet I've averaged a text or an email every 3 minutes since about 7 o'clock that Saturday morning as soon as the word got out of what was happening. I can't thank you enough. Some people have said, oh, that's got to be annoying, Roy, if it's coming that often. That's what feeds me. I want everybody to know that. That's the type of stuff that feeds me. The nights have been rough. I'm actually sleeping better than I've ever slept, but the mornings are where it really hits home. And I've been getting up in the morning and answering the emails and answering the text and doing that kind of thing. So if I didn't answer your text, I apologize. Eventually I will, I promise you, because it means the world to me, and I know it means the world to Robert and Emily and the rest of the family. So with that said, I know I want you all to understand, if you look out and you saw the reserved seatings for the family, this is a huge family. I want to explain how big this family is. I mean, right now, we have 2 great-grandmothers that were for Robert and Frank, and that's Connie and my mom, Meemaw. We have another Meemaw. We have Meemaw 2. That's with the Sackett family. So that's Emily's family. Then we move over, and you got John and Carol Napier. That family, which is part of the Mumford family. So now we're part of the Mumford family. And then you've got the Newman family. Y'all don't even know the Newman family. They're watching right now. This is live fed right now, if y'all know that. It's on the internet. And they're watching from across the West Coast. So, and that's Paige's mom's family. So it's amazing to me how big our family's gotten and how friendly our family is. Everybody welcomed Robert, myself, and Frank into their families. I can't say enough about the Mumford family. I can't say enough about John and Carol, Lee and Sarah. It's just been amazing. They didn't have to welcome us into their family. We would have totally understood that, but they did. And then I look over at the Sackett family. The Sackett family's been awesome. I don't know who else I'd have rather been with if I was with Emily, with that family. They really are a loving family, and I appreciate you guys really welcoming us in and really being good to us. And then the Newman family. They welcomed us too. It's amazing, just the outpouring. And of course, my family. I mean, the Woolwine family, what can you say? I mean, they're big, we know that much, but they're just great. And I appreciate the nephews, nieces, aunts, the sister-in-laws, the whole gang. But Mom, thank you. I want to thank the Douglas Freeman football team, coaches. I also want to thank the administration. I think I saw some people out there. You guys have been wonderful through all this. And I know it's hard, but I just really appreciate it. It gives me strength, and I just want you to know that. I'm a rebel, guys. I'm a rebel through and through. Can't stand Tucker. Can't stand Godwin. Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm serious about that. Deep run, come on. So I just want you to know I really do appreciate it. And we're going to talk a little more about that in a minute. I don't want to talk too long. Spencer, what did I say, 10, 15 minutes? Is that on your time or mine? So I've spoke at 4 funerals. This is my 5th in the last 8 years. First was Paige, bless her heart. She didn't deserve to go the way she went, but you know what? She gave us a great 40 years of her life. So that was a tough one. That was a really tough one. Next, I spoke at one of my best friends, Mike Fry's funeral. And that was a rough one. Very, very rough one. Then I spoke at Mrs. Hunley Campbell, who got up here, who was Frank's godfather, had the courage to get up here and read. I spoke at her funeral, and that was a tough one. My father passed away 2 months ago, and I spoke at that funeral, and that was a really tough one. Nothing compares to what I'm doing today. And I shouldn't say I, it's a we, this whole group. This is tough. And I got to tell you, it's really tough. I am going to talk about Frankie in a second and tell you some fun stuff, but the vigil, I don't know who saw the news with the vigil that was at our house the other night. 200 students showed up with candles. Unbelievable, peaceful, friendly, coming up to me and talking to me. 8 different schools were represented that night. Think about that a second. 8 different schools in this area, and I just pissed off 3 of them or whatever. So it was unbelievable. I mean, you don't know, I can't express what that did for me. Not only as a father, as a husband, just as a family man. It brought joy to my heart. And I truly appreciate the kids that were there that night, and thank you for doing that. I do want to clear up a couple things. There's rumors out there right now about what happened. This is the serious part, guys. I'm going to tell you what happened, that I know what happened. And it really doesn't matter what happened or how it happened. It happened. Frankie's gone. He made a bad decision. 1 second, his life changed. He made a bad decision. Yes, we believe, it's not finalized, that alcohol was involved. Second, we know he was driving at excessive speed, 78 miles an hour. I want to get that out now. So you kids, all it takes is a split second. If you get anything out of what happened here, I don't want to lecture you, I really don't. But if you get anything out of this, if you can just think for 1 second. I know your brains aren't wired that way. Just give it 1 second and say, am I making the right decision here? And just, if you could do that, if I just one of y'all to do that, my heart will fill. It will continue to fill. So, last year's been tough for Frank and I, and a lot of people know that. We were struggling. We had a lot of ins and outs, a lot of arguments, a lot of fights, and I mean not physical fights, because I wouldn't fight him, believe me. That's what I'm going to say. Alex said he used to pick on him until Frank outgrew him. That's what he wants to say. So with that said, we struggled. I'm not going to sit here and tell you we didn't struggle, but Frank was a lovely kid. He had a heart of gold. Everybody knows that. He would do anything for anybody. Mom, it's like our whole family. We've been brought up that way, tremendously brought up that way, and Frank was living that. He just had a hiccup in life, and it cost him. So it's just one of those things, and we just have to understand. The last 3-4 months have been tremendous for Frank and I. We really got to know each other. We started talking. We played golf together with Robert. Of course, I beat them both. So for that, it's tough. That's why this is tough. I thought we were making the turn. We really had. I know he was very excited to play football. He loved lacrosse. So with that said, I just want everybody to know the rumor's gone. That's what happened. We don't really need to know details. But just, guys, just please think about it. All y'all, just try to take that 1 second and think about it. Football team. Well, first let me talk about lacrosse. I think Coach Seeger's out there, and I knew I had to do this. Frank had the most incredible lacrosse season I've ever experienced, not just from him, but other kids I've watched and grown up with and saw that. He went from, when he came home and said, Dad, I'm going to try out for varsity. I'm going to try out for the varsity. I said, well, hey, proud father. Love it. Go play varsity. Then he came home and said, Dad, I'm not playing varsity. And I think he thought I would be disappointed. I really do. I think the way he said it to me, I said, what do you mean? I'm not. That's great. He goes, yeah, I think Coach Seeger wants me to come down and be a leader. And he did it. And I've heard from all the players. And he became a leader. It's not what was going on off the field or whatever. It was the fact that on the field, he was a leader. And I know I've heard that from a lot of the players. And that makes me so proud to know that he was a leader. And I can't thank Coach Seeger enough. If you ever get a chance to shake that guy's hand, please do. To me, I don't spend a lot of time with Coach. I'm not one of those dads that gets in the coach's face and tells him, hey, you should be doing this with my son, or I think he should play this position because he's going to be an NFL player. I just don't do that. I've never done that in my entire life, and that's the way my father had brought us up. You play where the coaches put you in. You play the position the coaches want you to play. You don't complain about it. You get out and play. Well, Coach Seeger drilled that into Frank. And I'm telling you, that kid changed. And he was so fired up, Coach Henderson, to play football for you. I know Coach Henderson just from a couple of conversations we've had through 8th grade and the football coach at the middle school. And he was so fired up, and I can't tell you how much I was fired up to have you coach him. I thought it would be his opportunity to really learn the game of football and learn how to play the game of football and be a leader on the football field. So we're not going to have that. But what I want, everybody says, what can I do for you? I mean, I get that all the time, and I would just want to say, hey, just be there. I want to challenge the football team right now. I want to challenge you guys to get on the field and leave it on the field. Play the hardest you can play. Be sportsmen. You don't have to be bad sportsmen to do this. Give it your all. I don't care if you're the guy that's playing third string. Give it your all in practice, because that makes those other guys better. It does. And my last serious thing, and I'll move on real quick and wrap this up, because it is 3 o'clock, by the way. I know all you athletes out there in high school now, you have to sign a pledge. We didn't have it when we were here. We didn't have to sign a pledge. So y'all have all signed a pledge, because I think it's mandatory you have to sign a pledge. And it says you won't touch alcohol. It says you won't do this and that. You represent the school. You represent the team. You represent your players, your teammates. Obviously, when I let Frank go on Friday morning, the last time I saw him or talked to him was 6:30. Coach got 6:30 practice. What's that all about? Man. As a captain, when I was playing, I might have vetoed that. But so with that, Frank got out of the car. He said, Dad, you guys have a great time at the beach. I wish I was going with you. Have a good time. And I said, Frank, good. Behave yourself. Be good to your grandmother. Well, in his hand, guys, he had that pledge, because for some reason we hadn't turned it in, and Coach Henderson was all over him. And so I had him sign it. He had that pledge in his hand Friday morning. This happened the next night. So I challenge you. I don't know if you're going to listen to me or not. Just follow your pledge, just for this season. After that, I don't have a dog in the fight. But for this season, for Frankie, do that for me. Follow your pledge. So next time you're at a party, you don't peer pressure, whatever. You guys make your own decisions. Frank made his own decision. Please do that for me. That's all I can ask. That will fill my heart. Again, that's another way to fill my heart. So I would appreciate it. Now last, I'll finish with some great stories of Frank and what I'm going to miss about Frank. You haven't lived until you live in our house on a Saturday morning, having coffee with my lovely wife. Nobody's up. It's quiet for the first time for the whole day, really. I mean, because once it starts, it just starts. 6 kids. It's whoo. So we just sit there, and all of a sudden, from down in the basement, through through the floors. You hear the scream, "Get out of my room." And you heard him talk, so you know he can scream. And I look at Emily and I say, "Oh God, here we go again. Here we go again. Get out of my room." Then my phone would ring because they're too lazy to come up. It was crazy. And they'd say, "Hey, Dad, get him out of my room." I'd say, "Let me speak to him." This is like clockwork, folks. I'm telling you. "Frank, get out of his room." "Okay, Dad." And then Frank would come. We could hear him coming up the stairs. You could hear him just coming up the stairs. He was so big, you just hear him coming up. And he'd come into the kitchen. Emily and I'd be in there, and he'd be just giggling. And I'm like, "Frank, why do you do that? You do it every single morning on Saturday and Sunday." He goes, "Because I can." So that's one I got to tell you, I will miss that. Next, he was so famous for walking in the house. I'd be in the house. You know, if you know me, you know, I'm kind of, when I focus on something, I'm focused on it, blah, blah, blah. And he just walk up and just bump the you-know-what out of me. I say, "Dude, don't do it again." He'd bump me again. I say, "Buddy, this is going to come down to a scrap. I'm telling you." And he'd bump me again, then I'd just leave. Because trust me, I wasn't going to mess with him. Frank and I know the Newmans are watching, so they'll appreciate the story. Back when we went to Portland a few years ago, and Frank was in wrestling. And I don't know if y'all know, Frank never lost a wrestling match. Never. So he was talking all this smack. So Kurt, one of the brothers-in-law, basically was a wrestling coach or was a wrestler in high school or college. So Frank's like, "All right, you and me, Dad, let's go, baby." And I'm like, "I can't wrestle you, man." He's like, "Come on, let's go." I said, "All right, I'm gonna shut him up." Kurt gets down, we get down, we go at it. And he's given points, right? So it's 2-0 me, right? So I'm like, "All right, I got him. 2-1, 2-2. Then I get 3-2. I got him. I've got him now. He's going down. Then it becomes 3-3. "Oh, sorry, Frank, I hurt my arm, hurt my shoulder." So I got out of that one, but he was tough. And I'm going to miss not being able to wrestle with him and have fun with him, just punching me around and doing stuff and me screaming at him, "Leave me alone, leave me alone." So he was a good kid. He really was. He you know, again, I'm not going to say we didn't have any issues, but those issues are irrelevant, and they were irrelevant at the time. It just gave me a reason to be mad at him. I wish I could be mad at him right now. Emily and I were talking about it in the sense that, you know, I wake up in the mornings, I'm usually crying when I wake up, and you know, I'm not ashamed to say that. And all I'm thinking about is I don't hear Robert screaming, "Get out of my room." I don't hear him coming into my closet, grabbing my clothes. He stole my clothes all the time. I'm just going to miss that, and I'm going to miss yelling at him. So in closing, I just want to say, Emily, you're my strength. Dr. Spence said it to me the other day when we were talking, that Emily's the answer to my prayers. I can't say it enough. I don't know where I would be right now if I didn't have that wonderful woman hugging me and just being there for me, not complaining, just incredible. So you give me strength, sweetheart. You do. And my friends, I've got childhood friends, I've got VMI friends, I've got Navy friends. It's amazing the friendships that are in this room right now. It's just incredible. But you know, Mike Coletti was with me the second he found out. Billy Baker flew in from Austin. John Steiner came in from Savannah. These are all childhood buddies. Campbell Hunley came over. And then Mark Stepanian came over. Tommy Brewer came over. These are guys that and I don't sit here and say you find out who your true friends are in this situation, because they're all friends. Everybody was there. I mean, the Davlas, Ucrop, Devinoge. I mean, these are people, Mike Barrett, I see Mike sitting out there. These are people that they came by and they didn't ask for anything. They just said, give me a job, I'll do it. I mean, I think I had Coletti scrubbing floors, or Greg was scrubbing floors or something. So I'm sitting there, I looked at Emily, I said, hey man, what else we need done? So, I know I'm talking too long. I know David's over there going, get off the microphone. But I'll just end with this. You only get to do this once, I hope. Frankie is in heaven. I just picture him right now looking down upon us. Him and Mom and his mom and Paige and I think Mike Fry's probably standing over there too, and Peepaw. My mom put it really, really well when she saw Spencer Williamson for the first time on Saturday morning, that don't worry, Peepaw's whipping his butt right now. By the time he gets done with him, Paige is going to be hugging him and giving him a big old kiss. So again, I really appreciate y'all coming. It means a lot to me, a lot to the family. You've been standing here while I guess I broke that upfront contract. I think it's 20 minutes. But again, thank you very much. I hope everybody read that we're going to have people at the house tonight after 6 o'clock. I hope you can make it. And if you do make it, please make it a point to come up and talk to me. It's going to be pretty crazy, but I really would appreciate it. I've got all day Friday to hang with family and really bond with them. So thank you very much, and love you, Frank.